I mean, it don't take 5 police to bust no one person. They just jumped out the car and just start snatching them.
My name is Anat. I'm currently in my 14th month of being homeless. I'm staying in a shelter. It's my 3rd month. And I spent a lot of time in the hate talking to the kids that are out there, and they come from broken homes from all over the nation, seeking a better life here in San Francisco because they've heard of the mythical San Francisco and they come here. It's the same reason I came here for HIV treatment. So my question is, if we have sit and lie, what happens if you're not allowed to stay in the shelter during the day? Where are you supposed to go? I mean, honestly, we all are supposed to sit in the library all day, find places in there.
There's not enough room in the library.
Exactly. What happens to people like myself that are HIV positive? I got very sick, and a lot of the times I found myself just sitting on Market Street, and I'm not bothering anybody, but I would have been harassed because at the time my clothes looked more ratty and I was unshaven and I didn't look as clean cut as I do now, and that is not appropriate. It's not right. So,
I see. So you're just you get profiled even more because being homeless and not the inability to bathe or
exactly.
Personal hygiene, all that.
Exactly. There's no. I mean, if you don't have a place to rest during the day, it's already established that being homeless, just the fact that you're homeless, can cause PTSD. So when we have issues like we do in the shelters, where people are not treating people with dignity, making things harder for people, and then when the city comes in and says, oh, well, now you can't sit or lie on our sidewalks, you're adding more stress to people that are on the verge, and nobody has statistics to how much people that are homeless commit suicide because we don't know about it. They disappear. So people need to really focus on what the human impact of what they're doing is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And find more solutions that are oriented towards the kids and the hate, since that's where they're putting this, like their unique situation, the fact that they're young, the fact that they come from broken homes, the fact that they have a certain, I don't know what the word is for it, but they have a certain creed, a certain code, a certain family atmosphere. Break into that and go in there and talk to them on their level. Don't sit hot out there with the police. They hate the police. Why have the police be a liaison with that community? Why not have somebody...
It's not really they hate the police. The police are often hateful towards them as well.
I agree with you. I've seen some really shitty stuff happen to those kids out there, and it's wrong. And we need to help them, not criminalize them.
Vilify them, treat them like human beings. I've seen cattle treated better. If they're, they even give a cattle a place to go during the day.
Exactly. And my whole thing is that a lot of people that are on the streets are disabled, either mentally or physically, and you have to have a place to rest. You have to have a place to sit. And then it doesn't even go into the whole fact that the kids in the hate are what a good portion of people that choose to go into the hate are looking for.
Item 2, hearing on public safety issues concerning chronic low-level crimes and harassment, including a discussion on the feasibility of a no-sit and/or lie law, requiring presentations from the San Francisco Police Department, the District Attorney's Office, and the Human Services Agency, and requesting a representative from the City Attorney's Office to be present.
Frankly, the reason why we're having this hearing is to get to clarity as to what has been well discussed through the press, which is not uncommon, but not always the best strategy to legislate through the press, especially sight unseen any kind of legislation which had not been submitted or introduced to the Board of Supervisors. We've been hearing for a number of months about the need to respond to the distress, agitation, and the frustration of our people who are feeling neglected or orphaned, or feeling the insufficient attention being applied to low-level nuisance, crime, and incivility and harassment. It's important that we have a forum that at least gets to a better understanding that if such an idea like this would work, how would it work, and what would be our best use of police services and community services. Some cities have the requirement where shelter beds have to be attached to any implementation of a sit and or lie law. We have asked if there's been any kind of qualification as to how many shelter beds have to be available. We were told in some cities with the implementation of the sit or lie law that there has to be a public works enhancement by the erection of benches. We have not been told of what this will cost us, knowing all the sub-layers or addenda to policy that would then make the complete compliance with this law whole.
They took the benches out in the 80s.
Understand as to what the
Put them back, huh?
whole, I think, approach is in what our commitment and investment would be. It also raises questions as to why current laws are not able to be enforced, and why current law, especially 22 to 27 of the Municipal Penal Code, is not being as well enforced, or maybe it's being as well enforced as it might be purported, but why that is insufficient and still causing the distress that people are feeling.
I'm Assistant Chief Kevin Cash for the San Francisco Police Department. The Assistant Chief of Operations, which oversees uniform patrol and the investigations bureaus. What is the sit and lie ordinance? In San Francisco, we prohibit sitting or lying upon a sidewalk to ensure sufficient unmolested clearance for pedestrians. It would be developed in response to public outcry for protection from sidewalk obstruction and harassment. On this issue, it's locally initiated in part because of the Hate Street residents and merchants, but we've also found a vast amount of support for this in other areas of San Francisco. People have been advocating sit and lie, for a long time in San Francisco. I can remember going back 2 years and hearing about sit and lie in the Tenderloin and areas around Union Square, Fisherman's Wharf, Marina, and many other parts of the city. As much as the police department is very supportive of the sit and lie ordinance, this really is a grassroots campaign, so to speak. We have a very intelligent and very well-informed community here in San Francisco, and they're aware of what's going on in other agencies and other jurisdictions. As we began to research sit and lie, we found a few things. One, that Philadelphia was among the first to implement sit and lie ordinance, but we also found sit and lie legislation in areas like Santa Cruz, Palo Alto, Los Angeles, Seattle, Tempe, Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada, Austin, Texas, Houston, Texas. What I found surprising doing this research was these were not areas which I consider really hotbeds of conservatism. If anything, many of these cities have reputations for being tolerant and inviting communities and very open-minded and forward-thinking. But they have, nonetheless, enacted sit and lie ordinances. The objective of the ordinance would be to provide a safe sidewalk passage during peak hours of pedestrian traffic. This would allow safe passage for those unable to safely navigate congested sidewalks, most notably the elderly, disabled, vision impaired, and children. Additionally, safe pedestrian passage would involve economical maintenance of the area. And it is unlawful to sit, lie, or maintain property on a public sidewalk. The first offense would be an infraction. Any subsequent violation shall be a misdemeanor. No one shall be cited without having first received a warning from the officer and being allowed to take corrective action. And of course, there's exceptions built into it, exceptions for medical emergencies, activity pursuant to applicable permits, the use of wheelchairs, similar devices, people with disabilities, and people standing in line for goods and services.